Hi there and welcome. My name is Gabriela Rosa. I'm the founder and director of naturalfertilitybreakthrough.com, and today I've had the great pleasure to be invited to talk a little bit about fertility and the impact that it has been having in our society. I guess it's important to understand first off that fertility is a changeable aspect. There are things that a couple can do in order to optimize their chances. The prevalence of infertility in our society today is about 1 in 6 couples has difficulty conceiving. 40% of the reasons as to why couples have difficulty conceiving is to do with female factors. Another 40% is to do with male factors, and then we've got a 10% of unexplained factors or unexplained infertility that comes into the mix. There are many reasons as to why couples have difficulty conceiving, and certainly there are things that can be done in order to optimize chances, from improving health, improving lifestyle choices, improving environmental factors. There are of course very physical reasons as to why couples have problems conceiving, and those things certainly need to be addressed. But the self-care aspect of, what is it that you can do in order to optimize your chances is a very big factor in helping couples overcome fertility problems. And I'll be talking a little bit more about those aspects, what is it that you can do to optimize your chances in just a moment. But before I do, I guess the thing that really does stand out, and when I get asked, what are my top tips for helping couples overcome fertility problems, what is it that I would recommend? I certainly can say that there is one overarching way of living that I would recommend, and that is to act pregnant now to get pregnant later. And let me explain what that means. What that means is very simple. Anything that you would do if you were pregnant right now, and anything that you would stop doing if you were pregnant right now, is essentially what you want to start or stop doing at least 120 days prior to a conception attempt. That's what really makes a difference for helping couples to do what's required as far as a self-care strategy is concerned to make a difference. And this does apply to both men and women, because right now obviously women are born with all the eggs that we'll ever have. So right now we already have 50% of that little baby that we want to create inside us at this moment. And as a man, the same thing is true. 50% of that little baby that you want to create as a couple is already within the man. So by ensuring that you are doing everything you can and that you are applying a team effort type focus on what it is that you're trying to achieve is going to give you a much better result. Another aspect that's very important, and I guess this would have to be part of my top tips, would be to prepare your health for the minimum amount of time that it takes to optimize fertility, and that is 120 days. It takes about 120 days for the egg to mature and the sperm to form. So making sure that you are doing everything that you can to be as healthy as possible over that period is only going to optimize the chances of conception. Another interesting aspect, and I guess this is something that often gets overlooked, is that preparation prior to having a baby is so important. So many people conceive every single day, and that is very true, being the most unhealthy that they could be. However, what we're looking at is that child's health and certainly that child's well-being in the long term when we're talking about preparation. Of course, it helps couples overcome fertility problems, and the statistics are that for previously infertile couples, applying a lifestyle change can increase fertility by up to 78.4%. So there are certainly studies around that show the impact of lifestyle factors on the ability to conceive. In fact, there was a very interesting Harvard University study that was very, very recently published. And what they showed was that a man's ability to conceive is jeopardized, and certainly infertility is more likely for men that watch too much TV and don't do enough exercise. So we can see that lifestyle factors can really play a huge role. Now, the study was discussing and going through, what are the lifestyle factors what are the aspects that sitting in front of the TV will contribute to. One of the things, of course, was heat. Heat to the testicles and pressure to the testicles will decrease the quality of sperm. Another aspect that was brought to the fore with this particular study are the habits and lifestyle choices that men make when they are watching TV. They're more likely to eat junk food and drink alcohol. So we've got those other aspects that also have been shown in other studies to cause fertility problems being again brought to the fore in this particular study. So it's really quite interesting, you know, if you are trying to conceive, even if you are a man, looking at how you can act pregnant now to get pregnant later and do the things that you would do right now if you were taking care of that cell that's going to create your truly healthy baby, because you are, is going to be the best way to make sure that you do achieve the outcome that you're looking for. Now, another aspect, and this is another interesting question that I get asked often, is about, you know, what is it that makes you so passionate about what you do and what keeps you on this path? And I guess I have to say, you know, my patients keep me utterly inspired in doing what it is that I love doing the most, which is helping to transform people's lives. To see the changes that we can make in somebody's life and somebody's health in such a short period of time. You know, I often have been asked, I have been asked in the past, what is my absolute highlight of what I do? And I have to say, there is this one couple that they are always in the forefront of my mind. You know, when I think that something may not be possible, I think of them. You know, their story is a story that's quite interesting. They were trying to conceive for about 10 years. They started when she was 30, he was 40, and they came to see me on a friend's recommendation when he was 40 and he was 50. And they told me, they said, Gabriela, look, you know, we're coming to you. We just want to prepare for our next cycle of IVF. They had quite a few failed attempts through IVF, and they wanted to prepare so that they could be the healthiest that they could be, to give themselves the best possible chance on their last cycle, on their last attempt. And I said to them, okay, let's go do it. And personally, I thought, well, you know, look, they've been trying for such a long time. I'm sure that they have been to many different specialists and have had a look at many different aspects or reasons as to why they weren't conceiving, which, you know, I was surprised to see how little had been done on their 10-year journey. But we went through and we did the things that we do, which is to investigate further and put in place changes that make a difference and so on. And on her consultation, prior to figuring out the strategy around going back to IVF, it was the last consultation that I was going to see her before she actually went to do another cycle. And she turned around to me and she said, Gabriela, guess what? And I'm like, yes, we're going to go and do IVF next. What? And she goes, well, I'm pregnant. And that was a true highlight, because, you know, they had been trying for such a long time. They had so many different problems that even I didn't think, wow, we were going to make such a huge difference to. But you know, as I always say, I certainly am just a humble servant, and God always knows best, you know. So from that perspective, I will always help couples to optimize their fertility and help with whatever path they want to take, as long as we know that we are doing it in a very strategic way and making sure that we are getting the results that they're looking for. And I guess, you know, the other thing that's beautiful about what I do is it helps couples that perhaps don't know what else to try or what else to do, to feel that they've actually accomplished, that they've looked at a whole gamut of things that haven't been working, and are able to understand what are the things that perhaps need to be looked at further, what are the things that don't need to be checked again, and the things that, you know, perhaps haven't been checked that need to be looked at. So from that perspective, it's great to be able to give couples a peace of mind of knowing that they've done everything that they possibly could in the best way that they could before giving up or before trying something else and perhaps not having the outcome that they're looking for. So that's a huge highlight of what I do. And finally, you know, one of the questions that I got asked was, you know, if I could give a 30 seconds of wisdom, you know, what would I say and what message would I give? And I guess it all comes down to contribution. You know, sometimes we are so focused at our results and our own outcome and what is it that we want for our lives, and we feel so down when we don't get the result, and particularly in this area, you know, of having a baby or not having a baby. And I can honestly say that for so many of my couples who have not managed to have babies, they have been able to reposition their whole life by just focusing on one thing, and that is contribution. You know, how can they contribute? How can they give more of themselves, and how can they add value to other people's lives? And what a wonderful change that's made in their own life. So I welcome and I certainly encourage people to look more at that, you know, factor, I guess, that you can have everything in life you want as long as you will help enough other people get what they want, even if having a baby hasn't really been the success that perhaps you had planned for your life. Maybe repositioning that whole way of thinking and looking at the situation can certainly bring a lot of joy and a lot of love and everything else that that you can certainly have and want in your own life. So that's my little pearl of wisdom, if you like, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.